From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gerry Kissell.
Hi from my room. This is Gary.
I'm Keith.
And we're here to talk about nerd stuff. So today we've got a list of stuff that we wanted to talk about. First, Keith wanted to make some announcements about some anniversaries.
Yeah, well, one big anniversary that we're basically going to be talking about today is the 25th anniversary of the launch of Babylon 5. And a groundbreaking series that unfortunately, for some unknown reason, Warner Brothers is basically going out of their way not to put it out on Hulu, as far as I know. I know they have it on Amazon, is what I hear, and it's not on Netflix.
That is really weird. Why aren't they doing it?
I have no idea. But you can find J. Michael Straczynski, the creator of the show, is actually on Twitter. And he's one of the few people that has been interacting with fans since before Babylon 5 was actually on the air. And he continues to do so. And it's a great, you can ask him any question, he'll answer you, and he's really, really good about that. But I highly recommend, for those of you that have not seen the show, to watch it. Don't go online and Google everything about the show. Just go to Amazon and start watching the show. Seriously, you will love it. It's great. And that's the only major anniversary.
Yeah, I remember when it came out, I loved it, that
Yeah.
first season. And then Bruce Boxleitner came in. And don't get me wrong, I was a Bruce Boxleitner fan, but I really liked the original Captain.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was taken aback by this, and I thought, I don't know if I want to watch this. And then I kind of stopped for a bit. And then one of my buddies said, no, dude, you need to go back and watch that. Because Garibaldi is like one of my favorite characters anyway. So I went back for Garibaldi. And
I think everybody.
And we lost him, 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 3 years ago. Jerry Doyle.
Jerry Doyle. A guy after my own heart. I love that guy. And he was, in my opinion, the best part of that show from the beginning to the end. And it had Billy Mumy in it. Or Mumy is. Yeah. How is it pronounced?
Mumy.
It's Mumy.
Yeah.
I'll never get used to that because I've always said Billy Mumy.
You can any way you want. Plus, he did the song Fish Head.
Fish sheds, roly-poly fish sheds. We're over 40, so we know this stuff.
Yeah, we could say that. But again, it's to me, what they have done so right with Babylon 5 is that a lot of the comics and novels, especially novelizations of episodes, all of it fed into the story that they were telling with the television series.
So it doesn't stray off and go off on its own.
No. It is all canon.
Okay.
There's none of this. Well, this is just outside.
Well, is the creator in charge of all that?
J. Michael Straczynski made sure that everything stayed nice and clear and clean.
That's how you do it.
And that is exactly how you do it. Because Star Trek has tried, Star Wars have tried, everybody's tried, and they haven't been able to be as good as what Babylon 5 was able to successfully do.
And it's just damn good science fiction. Now, what other anniversaries we got?
Well, that's the only one for today. So
okay.
You guys are spared me going on about all of the rest of this stuff. So that's your assignment. Watch Babylon 5. Support it and write Warner Brothers and just ask, what up?
What's up, man? What's going on with this stuff?
What are you doing?
Let's see. We're going to talk about the new Doom Patrol. Because we got a taste of it watching Titans, which I'm in and out on that show. Don't get me wrong. I like the look of the show. The feel of it, not so sure. But I liked the episode with the Doom Patrol.
That was episode 4 called Doom Patrol from Titans. And even though they had a different cast, the cast for the cast for the spinoff Doom Patrol is going to be slightly different. Now, they had a different actor playing the chief. So for the series, they went out and got Timothy Dalton. Okay?
The other Bond.
Yes. And trust me, I don't know who this other guy was. I personally have not seen that particular episode. I'm sure he was good. But it's Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, Timothy Dalton. And you said something about Matt Smith?
Yeah, well, that's going to be a slightly different story.
Okay? But he's going to be involved with it, though.
No.
Okay.
No. Brendan Fraser
Oh, Brendan Fraser's
Yes.
going to be what's his name?
Cliff Steele,
Yeah,
Robot Man.
Robot Man.
And again,
you were saying that he's going to voice the character throughout the series, but he's going to actually play him in the pilot.
yes,
Because we get to see Brendan Fraser as himself in that episode.
yes.
So that's going to be exciting.
And then actor Matt Bomer, who is playing Negative Man, Larry Traynor.
Oh, for some of you guys on my Facebook page that were asking about that joke about an invisible man, that's the Invisible Man character from the DC universe. It's Negative Man.
Yes.
So, because there was a joke the other day, someone posted about Wonder Woman on top of a building with her legs spread apart. Superman flies down and diddles her in a microsecond and then flies away. And then all of a sudden she sat up, she goes, "What was that?" And the Invisible Man sat up and goes, "I don't know, but my ass hurts."
But I'm bummed.
And that's Negative Man is the Invisible Man from the DC universe. Yeah, somebody posted that old joke.
That is an old joke. That joke is old. Anyway, this series is really all tied into what they're doing with the DC pay service. And for those of you that don't have it, there's really no other way to get it in the United States. Now, outside the United States, if you have Netflix, you can watch this and other shows. Again, write DC, write Warner Brothers, and ask them, really, guys? I mean,
Or you can just get a VPN client and lie to the internet saying that you're in the United States and then get the account. Now, Netflix will bust you on that. For some reason, they can catch VPN providers. But I found like some of them, it works for me because I can watch some British programming that's not available to us in the United States, but I'll turn on my VPN and state that I'm in the United Kingdom and I can watch everything except for BBC, because now you have to pay a tax and you get a number with that tax you pay. It's like $150.
Oh my goodness.
Citizens of England that want to watch on the internet. And they have to pay for that license to be able to watch the BBC.
Well, listen.
That's freedom right there.
I am hoping I'm hoping this show is really good.
I think it's going to be.
This is DC's one of DC's main properties from the 60s. It actually premiered months before the X-Men. Okay, so 1963.
Do you think that was an influence on Marvel?
I don't know if it was an influence, but there's definitely, when you have a character in a wheelchair and Marvel comes out with their version. I mean, the original Dr. Calder, who is the leader of the Doom Patrol, comes out, long hair, beard, the whole 9 yards. And so what do they have? They have their guy in a wheelchair and he's got no hair, no beard.
The exact opposite.
The exact opposite. So you tell me, I mean,
Dr. Evil? So, well, I don't know. Now, I'm not a fan of the Titans series, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I watched the season. I thought they did some interesting stuff on it. The man aspect of it wasn't as disrespectful as I had feared. You get to see a little bit of why Dick feels that way about Batman. And then you get to meet Jason Todd.
Yeah.
And their depiction of Jason Todd, I liked it. He was creepy and weird because I always hated Jason Todd. Hated him. He was my least favorite Robin. And
overall, with this, all of what they're doing with this, my hope is that as the series continues to go on, we'll be spending more time with a lot more of the characters that are associated with the entire history of the Teen Titans, rather than just sticking with one particular period of time. Because the current version of the Titans that a lot of you youngsters know, it's not the original version.
Yeah, with the Cyborg. Cyborg was not a teen. He was an adult.
Yeah.
He was part of the Justice League. And he ended up coming to the Teen Titans to help them.
Well, not initially. He was written in to do that later. He was a part of the Teen Titans when they were reformulated in the 80s. but that was after, I mean,
I don't remember that.
oh yeah, trust me on that one. It's Raven and Starfire, along with Cyborg, were the three characters that were created for the new Teen Titans comic. Prior to that, in the 1970s, you had the Teen Titans. You had Titans East and Titans West.
Oh, I remember that.
Okay, and the Titans East was Robin, Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, Green Arrow sidekick Speedy, Aqualad.
Which I always thought was funny because what does East Coast, West Coast mean in the DC universe? Because where are the cities? They're fake cities.
Yes.
It's not like Marvel when they had East Coast and West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
Because they use real locations in Marvel. I always thought that was weird that DC did that, and which came first, the Avengers or?
I think Marvel did it first with East and West Coast.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know.
But at least with Teen Titans, Beast Boy, Hawk and Dove, and I think the original Batgirl were all Titans West, along with Harlequin, who was the Joker's
Yeah, because they were in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, San Francisco, yeah.
And I don't know. I love the Teen Titans. One of the first, most realistic drawings I ever did was a Teen Titan drawing. It was a naughty one, and my dad found it.
Oh man.
He couldn't make up his mind whether to punish me or commit a very realistic depiction of Robin and Wonder Girl.
Hey, as long as the artwork was good.
Yeah, that's what he said. He says it's really good, but I don't want you drawing this anymore. Okay, Dad, I'll be good. So anyway, well, Doom Patrol, when was it coming out?
Let's see, soon, I see. I don't have the exact date on me right now, but it is coming soon. Look, everybody really liked this first season of Titans, and I'm hoping that they can keep that train going. Again, I would love to see more characters. I would like to see Harlequin show up, because that's a character that has not really been seen really at all since being in the comics. And doing the Joker's daughter would make that so different than anything else that you could expect. Because look, the thing about the way that the character of the Joker has been depicted, especially in the last 20 years in Hollywood, especially because of Heath Ledger and The Dark Knight. And when you look at Harley Quinn instead of Harlequin, you get a sort of different type of character. And because of Dr. Harley Quinzel, you expect something different. But doing the Joker's daughter as Harlequin could be a little confusing, but it'll be very distinctive. Basically, it's a female version of the Joker. The green hair, the lips,
everything.
The skin.
Did you see Gotham's version
of
Harley Quinn?
Yeah, that was good. Gotham. I'm gonna miss that.
I'm dreading their Bane. It's just, I saw the preseason photos and not impressed with what they did with Bane. And I'm friends with Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon, and I know how they feel about it. It's just like, what are you doing, Gotham? You're such an awesome show.
Yeah, but again, I look at it this way. I will admit it may not live up to it, but at least it's better than the Batman and Robin film version.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Poison Ivy with Uma Thurman with the gigantic nostrils.
Yeah,
they're black holes in her face.
Basically, I call that film the updated film version of the '60s Batman.
Yeah,
that's exactly what that means.
And I feel sorry because George Clooney took a huge hit. He blames himself. And
from day one, he blamed himself. He didn't try to shirk from his responsibility.
Exactly. And even with the Val Kilmer Batman. And Joel Schumacher has felt like crap for decades.
Well, I wouldn't say for decades. He finally admitted to have sharing some of that responsibility only within the last few years.
But he also said recently that he would like to go back and be allowed to make the Batman that he wanted to make, because all of that came about because of Tim Burton's firing, which was McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah, your favorite
Toys.
fast food chain led to the firing of Tim Burton, and
just toys. Back then, it was all about selling toys.
It's all about toys, and that's why
that's-
Batman went silly again.
Yep.
And even though both films were financially successful, they were flops because the fans rejected it because it wasn't Batman. Tim Burton's Batman, even though it wasn't Batman either, was the closest iteration that we thought we would ever get.
At that time.
Yeah. And of course, Christopher Nolan, as awesome of Batmans as he made, still isn't Batman. Ben Affleck's Batman is closer to the comic book Batman that we've gotten so far.
Not too much padding, closer to being real material.
Exactly. And Matt Reeves' Batman that's coming up,
someday.
we're all crossing our fingers that, apparently it was announced that the Penguin's going to be the main villain.
Which is cool.
Oh, very cool. It's like, because we've talked about it before, that the Riddler became a massive character in the DC verse because of the 1966 TV series.
Yeah.
He was actually a very minor bad guy, but Frank Gorshin nailed that character so freaking well, because he was basically doing an impression of Kirk Douglas.
Yeah.
As one of the villains he played in Kiss of Death, I think was the movie.
I think that was it.
Where he pushes the lady down the stairs and has the maniacal laugh. She's in a wheelchair and he pushes. Anyway, it was such a really good interpretation of a character that it made this character come to life. And every iteration of the Riddler is still based on Frank Gorshin. So people can talk smack about that 66 series. We got Batgirl from that show.
Number 2.
Yep. We got the Riddler that we know today from that show.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing we got from that show?
Well, a lot of the various villains that you thought were
The
weird.
Rogues Gallery, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the weird villains that you didn't probably recognize.
False Face
From the Lego Batman movie. A lot of the really
came from
weird.
the 66 Batman.
There you go.
That's right. That was a good movie. It's one of my favorite Batman films.
Yeah, I love it. So I think next is we're going to Star Trek and
we're going to talk about
STD and the Orville.
We're going to talk about STDs, chlamydia,
otherwise known as Star Trek Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery is an STD, and we feel bad if you get it.
Yeah.
The fact is, I was really shocked this week with their episode that it actually was really good. It rivaled an episode of another show that was on pretty much at the same time on another network, which is called Orville. Both of them did first contact episodes. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Dealing both with astrological beliefs and religious beliefs. It was really kind of first contact dealing with beliefs. And I'm like, that's kind of odd that they both did that. But that's not the only odd thing about it. What else is odd about this season of Discovery is that it's on at pretty much the same time now as Orville. And that's not an accident. And I don't believe it has anything to do with the showrunner, no matter how much I don't like Kurtzman. He's a terrible writer. He's a terrible director. He does not like it. He hates the original series. The guy still is doing a show that has our universe in it that we want to love. And we want to love this show, just make a show that we can love. And last night or night before? Night before is the latest episode. And I was shocked. I really liked it. It was a first contact episode where they go to a planet that is inhabited by people who are transplanted there from Earth that think that Earth has been destroyed. And
it's almost like a Voyager episode.
Yeah, it was very good. And it was really odd. And one of the cool aspects of it was, what is that Unitarian church where it basically combines all religion? That's what this culture is. It's all religions all rolled into one. It's a cut and paste. And so they're staying alive. they're farming and struggling, and they have some memories from the past that were handed down, but really they believe they were transplanted there by angels of God. And so there's this heavy religious aspect to the episode. And on the other hand, there's the Orville, which is dealing with a planet that deals with astrological signs, that believes that if you're born under a certain star or time of year, a month, that you're just no good and you have to be sent away to a camp. And so both episodes have these heavy moral issues dealing with belief system, but they're on at the same time now, and it's not an accident because CBS is declaring its own kind of war with the Orville. They acted like they were cool with this show because they didn't think it was going to amount to anything. But now it's got a fan base, and the fans like it, a solid fan following. When you look at some of the Metacritic and the other Rotten Tomatoes, don't pay attention to critics. Their opinions don't mean anything. Pay attention to viewers and what they're saying.
Yeah.
And when you see high numbers on Orville and low numbers on Discovery, that's telling. It's telling you something.
Yeah.
And but this season the numbers are up on Discovery, and I think that's because they're trying to copy a little bit from Orville, and they're also CBS again, which CBS is the new Viacom. Now, even though Viacom is still part of Paramount, they no longer control Star Trek. It's now controlled by CBS Studios, which is the new version of Viacom.
Yeah.
They are the Borg. It's their way or the highway. They're the ones who sued all these fans, Axanar, everything. They want to control the story. They want to control everything. And, they're limiting the fandom. And they're killing the fandom. Because once again, it's going to be something that you and I have talked about before, which is these companies don't understand what is their actual cash crop. They think the property is the cash crop that they need to cultivate. No, it's the fan base that is your cash crop.
Yeah.
You need to cultivate your fan base. If you're not cultivating the existing fan base and trying to shove them to the side and build new fans of a different ideological belief system, you're going to fail. It's just period. You're going to fail. There's no way to win doing that because only dedicated fans spend money. These new fans that you think that you're gaining, they're not spending any money, and they're not really watching your shows, and they're not going to go to the movie theater to see films more than one time. It's dedicated fans that pay to go see Star Wars 8 times. I went to see Last Jedi 8 times. I hated it. But I still, because I love Star Wars, so I was showing my weird support by going to see it 8 times in a movie theater. And it was at the Alamo, so it wasn't cheap. So,
look, it's basically eventually, probably sooner than we think, we're going to find out which of these shows is going to live to see a third, probably 4th season. And at this point, Discovery's having so many problems.
Yeah, and it was already, if you look on YouTube, just so many videos out there talking about the show's doomed. It's not going to make it. And in the middle of all this stuff with these downward spiral of people joining CBS, people leaving CBS paid app, it doesn't look good. And in the middle of all that, CBS leaks out that, Picard's not going to be an ongoing series. It's going to be a limited series. Well, that wasn't what they were saying before. This changed because of this. Every step that they take, because when you hear, when a show's about to come out, and then you start hearing this press come out with it, going, we're going to be doing all this, Matt. Don't pay attention to that, because everything is going to be based on their viewership. And if they're not getting a good viewership, all that stuff they talked about doesn't mean anything. And Picard and the animated Star Trek series, which sounded really stupid to me, it's like...
everything's just going to be based on how well that show does.
If Discovery doesn't succeed, they're going to find a new cash crop. But they need Star Trek, because Star Trek is the only thing selling the CBS app. That's all they've got. They don't have anything else selling that app.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Magnum PI, that ain't going to sell that app. It's a terrible show to begin with.
Hawaii Five-O's not doing it.
And I like Hawaii Five-O.
MacGyver's not doing it.
I don't even want to watch that. I didn't watch the original series. I'm like, really? Why do you... I didn't find the original series interesting. The premise is like, why do people like this show? Now, when he became O'Neill on Stargate, I liked him. He was really good on Stargate. I freaking liked that. But the concept of a guy that can get himself out of any given situation was just, I don't know. I liked that show back when it was called The Magician with Bill Bixby. Nobody remembers that but this guy.
Hey, it was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
It's you, me, and Arsenio Hall. That show.
It was a great show, dude. Did it make 2 seasons?
1 season.
Was it one season?
It was worth it.
I remember Mark Hamill was in one of the episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And they changed where he was at. They kept making little changes to the show. And I think that was what hurt it in the end. Because they took away one of the main characters that was on the show, and they changed part of the premise. And it was just like, I don't know. It was a good show either way.
Look it up, kids. It's on YouTube.
The Magician. Yeah, actually, all the episodes are on YouTube. So you can look up. Mark Hamill's in an episode. It was a really good one.
Well, next we're going to be talking about Star Wars trailer. Episode 9.
Yes, we just found out today that there's going to be a delay on the Star Wars trailer. That originally we had been led to believe that it was going to be released with the Super Bowl, and because they had done that before. But it's not going to happen now. And he has a really good theory as to why.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that this year is the year that Disney is having their semi-annual D23 event, which is really Disney's version of San Diego Comic-Con, where you go to Disneyland or Disney World. It's Disneyland, I think. And you just see all of their upcoming product. It's all of their media stuff, all their films that Disney's releasing, all the films that Marvel's releasing, all the upcoming projects from Pixar.
They employ so many people. It is like a San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. So why pay money when you can just have your own event, release all your own information, and do it in conjunction with all of that, and basically have everything work out. I mean, if you're going to pay for ads, why not just pay for the ads that they can actually put on ABC?
Right.
Which is them, because they own it. So, and there's a certain kind of sense to be made.
It's logic. It's pure logic.
And I think there are a lot of companies that aren't buying ads for the Super Bowl anymore. It seems like over the last few years, you have fewer and fewer companies that are releasing anything or making anything new for the Super Bowl. Because really, you could just release stuff online and get the same amount of coverage without paying the same price. Nothing against the Super Bowl, but it's like you were saying, it's logic. So Star Wars, look, everybody's anticipating this movie. I'm not saying everybody's liking it, but everybody is anticipating this. So it's going to take a little while longer. You still have a while before even the release date for this film. My thing is, don't expect to see it anytime soon. Disney's just going to drop this baby whenever they want.
That's true. And no matter what, when it hits, I think it's going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
As a diehard Star Wars fan, my heart was broken by the last film. And I was part of the protest that helped bring down Solo. I feel bad about that Solo had to pay a price for Last Jedi, but Disney had to get their attention taken because they were just letting these idiots run the ship. What is it? A ship of fools that were alienating their fan base. And you can't do that. You can't do that and succeed. So we need to let them know. Refer to it as the theory of Atlas Shrugged, which is people don't understand the gravity of the situation until it's not there. And Disney Lucasfilm has this idea that they were running the show, and they don't run the show. The fans run the show. You can say whatever you want to. You can hate on fans all you want to. They're the ones who run the show. And if you're not placating your fans, where are you going to get your money? Where's it going to come from? Because that money from Disney that paid to buy Lucasfilm, they want that money back, and they want it back with interest.
Yep.
And Lucasfilm lost them probably close to about $1 billion with Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Everybody goes, well, it made this one. They only get maybe 60% of that money, Disney, at the best, of what they made at the box office. And the toys tanked. Nobody bought the toys. They were all in the bargain bin or returned. So,
and to give you a really good example, yeah, the toys didn't do that well. Star Trek Discovery's toys did even worse than that.
this is what happens when you try to play politics with nerds. We love nerd stuff. Make it about nerd stuff, and we're happy. We'll keep buying it. The minute you get overly didactic and try to preach to us, we go, you know what? We don't want any of that. If I want to be preached at, I'll go to church. And I'm an agnostic, so I don't go. But he goes. I'm a lapsed Catholic. Catholic. But, well, anyway, it's like basically, I think Disney is doing the right thing. They've quieted Kathleen Kennedy down. They've basically fired Rian Johnson. He will not be getting his trilogy. The trilogy we still are going to get looks really interesting from the Game of Thrones guys. Mm-hmm. And the other thing we're getting is The Mandalorian. And I'm telling you, I like Favreau. And he's one of my favorite actor-directors. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him in Spider-Man. And I'm looking forward to seeing his production of Mandalorian. Oh, yeah, I know. I'm nerding out. Let's see. The next thing we're going to talk about is, which we've kind of touched on already, is CBS versus the world, which is, once again, we'll just tap on this. We'll just move on past this after this. It's like, basically, CBS is just not killing it. They're not killing it. They have alienated the fan base for Star Trek by going after Axanar. Axanar is going to get 2 15-minute short films instead of the full feature that we were all wanting and put money into. We're happy that we're getting it, but it's not fair that the fans are being treated like this by CBS. CBS is killing Star Trek. It's killing it. Not killing it in a good way, killing it in the bad way. And they're just against everybody. All they're interested in is their pocketbooks, and they're killing their own pocketbook. They could be making money hand over fist right now, and they've chosen to go another route by reinventing what already was invented. They're trying to reinvent the wheel. Sorry, Star Trek was invented 50 years ago by Gene Roddenberry and Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
And the other Gene.
Oh, Gene L. Coon. Yeah. Yep. And what was the other person? Another power behind the original Star Trek series. Name just escaped me. It was in my head and it went away. And that's your 50s for you. So basically, they're trying to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. And it's
make
not
it
working
more like
for them.
what they wanted to be rather than what it was.
It's like, okay, best example of how they don't get it. That stupid sneeze joke in the turbo lift. Dumbest joke ever. It fell completely flat on its face. The people that laugh at that are the dumbest people on the earth. And I'm sorry if you're watching this and you like that joke. I'm sorry. You're not very smart. So
the other thing is those short treks they made were originally meant to make a lot of money to be able to fund the Picard series.
Didn't work. But they're good. They were good. I actually they didn't like the first one. It made no sense where everybody is in cryostasis or something or in their rooms. So there are only 2 people moving around on the ship. It's just really, it was really Deadpool. Couldn't afford to have the rest of the cast of the X-Men in the film. So you got 2 X-Men in this entire mansion. That's how it felt. And disliked that first one. And of course, it was the lowest rated of all of them. But then they picked up. And with the one that made no sense plot-wise, but it was still an interesting one where the guy wakes up and it's after the Discovery has been abandoned in space. And it's just sitting there all by itself. Did you watch them?
I avoided them like the plague.
No, you should watch them. I highly recommend them. I was surprised that they were actually entertaining. The Harry Mudd one, it was okay. Not the greatest thing I've ever seen. Their interpretation of Harry Mudd's kind of goofy, but
That's the secret. Like Lost, it's all alternative universe.
alternative universe.
That's all Star
I
Trek
still believe
is.
Discovery is Kelvin.
Or
But
worse.
the best one of the series I liked was the one about Saru. And he's, one of the best characters on Discovery. In fact, other than Michael Burnham was the only other character I knew the name of because their characters are so not memorable. But they've gotten a little better this season, and even though it started off really bad.
Trust me, after the lawsuit, when they fix a lot of these characters, it'll be better.
Yes.
It'll be a lot better.
But I got to tell you, this last episode blew my mind. Good stuff. It was, once again, the First Contact episode.
Yeah.
It was a good Star Trek episode. Why was it so good? Jonathan Frakes directed it. That's why. If he directs an episode, it's always good. And I think it's really cool that CBS hasn't had a cow yet that he's directing Orville, too. He's directing on both Star Trek and Orville.
Well,
And he really brings a nuance to his visual storytelling.
I think after all these years of Next Generation, yeah. And remember...
And he directed the movie First Contact.
He directed the best of the Next Generation films.
Absolutely. So they need to stick with him. He should be directing every episode of Star Trek next Discovery. He will kill it. He brings the right heart to the story.
I think he should direct every episode of the Orville and just get rid of that whole Discovery thing. The sinking ship anyway.
I don't think they're going to get a third season. I think that this is also the sinking of CBS and their all access app. It's just, it was a failed concept. Fans were rebelling from day one going, I'm not going to pay to see Star Trek. It's like, and here's my general feeling on this. If I've got to watch a commercial, I'm not going to pay for your service. It's a simple concept. Like, who are you making your money off of? The viewers or the commercials?
Well,
you don't get both.
Because everybody outside of the United States, they get to watch all this through Netflix.
No commercials. So, CBS, you guys are...
Bad idea. Call us next time when you think you need to spend a lot of money. We'll help you out. But
this thing's practically free, what we're doing here right now. And we're entertaining.
Yeah.
So...
I think the final thing we're going to talk about is...
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, the release of the Umbrella Academy trailer for Netflix.
Because he asked me how I felt about it earlier, and I'm like, I got to be honest, I knew about the comic book. I wanted to read the comic, but I never did.
And Gerard Way.
The artwork looked amazing to me.
Yeah, it looks like they've tried to really do a faithful adaptation of the book. It's just as strange, just as unusual, but it also has a touch of the incredible, and I like it. I like what I'm seeing. I know you've got a few issues.
I only have one issue, which is the eyes look weird with their masks. I'm like, that's kind of weird. It's like, because comic books, we do, because I'm an artist, I work in the industry, and when we draw eyes, and when they've got masks on, they're white. Well, that's not because their eyes are glowing. It's because it's an easy way of drawing their eyes with a mask. And so therefore, when you see a live action version, you don't expect to see white eyes. I mean, they kind of explained it with Batman, the second one, The Dark Knight, where he has the glow sonar eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that makes sense.
And they kind of did that with the Batman Forever sonar eyes. So.
Yes, they showed that. That's right. I forgot about that because it's a shitty movie. But basically, when you see superheroes in live action stuff, they don't have the white eyes. They have human eyes. So I thought that was really odd that the masks, it's like it's covering their eyes. And is there a reason for that? I guess we'll find out when you see the show. It's like maybe they got something going on under the mask that helps them see better. I don't know.
Well, they got a nice cast led off by Ellen Page, and also including,
she's just a cutie patootie.
And also including Mary J. Blige.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. This is going to be something to
Oh
see.
yeah, baby, yeah.
This is definitely going to be worth your time. And look, if you're not familiar with the Dark Horse comic book, do yourself a favor, go to your local comic book dealer and just start in with the Umbrella Academy.
I've got Comixology, so I'm probably going to go buy it off. Well, I think they have it on Amazon too.
Yeah.
So it'll be either Comixology or I'll do it through Amazon.
Yeah, just do yourself a favor, check it out, and if you like what you read, check out the show on Netflix. And even if you don't read it, which you should, but even if you don't, check it out on Netflix anyway, because why not? What else are you gonna do? Watch Discovery?
And the final thing for us today is to flip a double bird at Bill Maher for sticking his foot in his mouth again about comic book readers and fans. Making fun of people who watch comic book movies is basically saying that we're not very smart people. Even though most of us have genius IQs. Whatever you want, Bill Maher. You know, you lost over 1 million followers on Twitter. I wonder why. You know, you just want to alienate people? That's fine. Go for it, you dip. You disrespected one of the most important men in our lives, Stan Lee, and we could care less. So in the end, when you die, you'll probably be on page 3 of some newspapers as an afterthought. You're not going to be anybody that anybody significantly thought very much of. Wow, he wrote some books and made fun of people who believed in religion and stuff. And, well, past that, what else did he give the world? Nothing. Nothing, because, you know, he was just sort of a smart aleck. That's it. Yeah, he was a smart aleck who disrespected Stan Lee. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I don't like Bill Maher. And once again, atheist agnostic, I don't like him. I think he's just a jerk. And he proves it every time he talks about comic fans and Stan Lee. So, but anyway, the last thing I want to give a shout out to the folks over on Dangerous Nerds fan page, and of course all my friends from Blade Zone. Gary Willoughby, who took over Blade Zone for me back in 2002, he's still rocking it. He's getting up there to be one of the oldest Blade Runner fans on the planet. Love him. He's one of my closest friends. And I go to bladezone.com. It's the #1 Blade Runner site since 1995.
Now you're saying it's bladezone.com?
Yeah, bladezone.com.
Okay.
And then, of course, Dangerous Nerds on Facebook. You can look us up. You got folks like my BFF from childhood, Jim Woodward. We all post some stuff on there. He's part of the Dangerous Nerds Network. And this show, of course, is part of the Dangerous Nerds Network. We are just a bunch of nerds that are just dangerous. And with that, y'all have a good night now. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Sweet.